Good day, everyone. We're here for another episode of the DVD show. So for today, we have one of the best Philippine basketball coaches in the country, and he's a former De La Salle Green Archer, and he's also a former coach of the De La Salle Green Archers. He's a former coach of the San Miguel Beermen, Barangay Ginebra, Gin Kings, ano pa ba? TNT, Tropa Giga.
TNT, yeah.
He's a multi-titled coach, and now he's a current assistant coach of the Gilas Pilipinas national team. I'll now welcome here to the DVD show, Coach Jong Uichico. Thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you, Diego, for inviting. No, it's my pleasure and
Mm.
honor to be part of the show.
Yeah. To start things off, to start light, I wanted to ask, how have you been doing, Coach Jong? I mean, you guys were in the Middle East for a couple of days playing against Saudi and Jordan, and yeah, how is it like for you with your work and also off your work, like with your family and other personal stuff?
Yeah, the work's fine. You get to and you get to enjoy what you're doing, especially after winning.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't win, then it's kind of taxing.
Yeah.
But if you win, everything's worth it. So, but it's a sacrifice for the family also. I'm always out of the house with this kinds of setup. We were in the FIBA Asia Cup a few months ago, and we were out for
Mm-hmm.
about 10 to 2 weeks. And then every now and then we leave for the country to play in the FIBA qualifiers. So yun. But I think representing the Philippines, is all worth it, naman. And you get to enjoy traveling places that you would not probably even think of going, but you're
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
you get to see a lot of places, also a lot of their culture. So there's a plus factor in uh,
Mm.
in in coaching Gilas.
Yeah. What's your job now? Like, are you an assistant coach lang in Gilas? And I think you're also an analyst now for PBA sometimes. Like, what
I'm
are the other things you do now?
Yeah, I wear so many hats.
Yeah.
I'm the program head of the Coaches Academy of the Samahan Basketball the Pilipinas.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
also the program head of the Referees Academy of the Samahan Basketball ng Pilipinas.
Mm.
I'm assistant coach to Gilas, and I also do, analyst work for TV for
Yeah.
Rush TV. Yun, Signal
Yeah.
Rush TV. I do an analyst work. Yun, and since you're not, you're sometimes when uh, Gilas it's not whole year round.
Yes. Yeah.
So you need to keep, and I don't coach any team, so I need to keep in touch with the coaching environment. So being
Mm.
an analyst gets me still to work on the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not totally detached, even if I'm not coaching any team. So I'm still
Mm.
there, and working your mind, and that helps me a lot being an analyst, so that you don't get stale, you don't get kalawang, as they say,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're not coaching. So and yeah, it keeps me in the game, keeps my mind in the game,
Yeah.
rather than just
Absolutely.
watching.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you talked about Gilas Pilipinas, and you recently played in the Middle East for 2 games. Pero yeah, it's been difficult kasi nga these players play in the PBA. You guys did once a week practices every Monday.
Right,
So
right.
how are the preparations like for this game? For these 2 games, and like when did you guys start the once a week practices? When did it ramp up, and how did you
Yeah.
like guys prepare for those 2 matches?
I think we started sometime middle of September or September 18, and I'm not very sure, but
Mm.
sometime in September, or was it October? I'm not so sure. Anyway, I think it
Yeah.
was October. I think it
Uh,
was October, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, yeah, about sometime October. So we had, a few Monday practices. I know it's difficult, but we try to manage. The players try to
mhm.
manage. The teams are very cooperative, and we try to do the best we can. And since the players and the teams are our cooperative, it made things easier. Even if it was a once a week practice.
Mm.
So and we were able to practice consecutive days only during the whole the October 31 and November 1 and November 2, 3 days
Mm.
consecutive, and we weren't able to enjoy our Holy All Souls
Holy
Day and All
victory.
Saints
Yeah.
Day and Halloween.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it's part of the sacrifice for being part of Gilas, and
Mm-hmm.
it paid off, naman. We won. We were able to win against Jordan and was able to win against Saudi. So medyo, yun nga, sabi ko, medyo sulit na rin, di ba? Sulit na rin yung sacrifice that we were able to win 2 games. It's not a guarantee, but at least you give yourselves a shot.
Yeah. Are you in charge of the scouting? Right, you're in charge of the scouting for Gilas.
Well,
Hmm.
it's a combination of me and Josh. A combination of
Josh.
me and
Okay.
Josh. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Because Josh is involved in the PBA, so while he's involved in the PBA, I get to do the scouting more.
Mm-hmm.
But when he comes on board after the PBA, when the PBA, when there's a break in the PBA, then it's we work hand in hand. We work together.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in terms of scouting and going up against Jordan, and yeah, it's the first time we played them in this kind of new format, the new window. And with Saudi Arabia, we played them already here in at the Mo Arena a few months back. So what were the few things that you saw from these two teams that you really needed to focus on?
Jordan, I'm not sorry, Saudi first. They're an entirely different team from the team that we played here in Manila. Entirely
Mm-hmm.
different team, not in terms of the players, but in terms of their style and system. They had the new coach when they were here in Manila. Now they have a new coach and an entirely
Oh, okay.
different system, an entirely different philosophy, so an entirely different team. So we beat Saudi here, big. And in
Mm-hmm.
Saudi, we we hardly dominated the game. We ended
Yeah.
up winning, but we hardly dominated the game. Uh, so um, I think they're going in the right direction. The coach, I think, is doing very well. I
Mm-hmm.
think they practiced also, for a short period of time because the coach is new. So we were in similar situations. They beat India before that big before they
Oh
played
yeah.
us. They played India before at home. So
Mm-hmm.
and playing them at home also makes it a little bit different. Siyempre, when you're home time, you get your adrenaline
Yeah.
going. But though there were all Filipinos, so,
Mm-hmm.
so we're like hometown also. But their home
Yeah.
court, we're hometown. Iba yun, home
Mm-hmm.
court.
Yeah.
They get to play their court. We're hometown because we get to play
Mm-hmm.
in front of Filipinos also. So, yun. And then Jordan, uh, buhos ang scouting report sa Jordan because we know that Jordan's a very strong team. They beat
Mm-hmm.
us when we played them in Jordan in a packet tournament, but we had
Oh, okay.
college players at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was last year, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and they beat us bad. So we know how good they are. So we prepared mostly for Jordan.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but then you played in the Middle East, which is far from in the Philippines, and nakita ko rin sa social media na matagal yung flight niyo. So kahit nga nag-prepare kayo, iba pa rin yung naglalaro sa ibang area and yung jet lag and everything. So
Yeah.
how did the players adjust? And bukang you guys had like bonding time pa, yeah, you went to places that are really like tourist spots. So how was it like preparing for the Jordan games since yun nga yung nauna?
Well, hindi naman talaga namin ininda yung jet lag, no. It's not. I mean, yes, there's jet lag, but it really, in my opinion, it really didn't affect us.
Mm.
Even during, we play at 7 p.m., which is 12 midnight here, so it's time to go to bed really. Pero hindi ganun kalaki yung time difference kasi.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah.
It's not like it's the other way around. Yes, it's
Yeah, yeah.
later on in the day, but it's
Mm.
not the other way around. Yung mahirap yung the other way around, it's morning and evening. That's
Yeah.
harder. That's more
Mm-hmm.
difficult, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But in Lebanon, in the other window in Lebanon, we played like 9 p.m., which was like I think 3 a.m. in Manila.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so ganon. Pero I don't think it really affects. I don't think it really affects you, except if yes, except if it's the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, now talking about the Jordan game, I want to focus on that. Like we had a slow start in the first half. It was a close game, and then pulled away in the second half. Second half. So, what impressed you the most with that game? Like maybe either in offense first or in defense, you could focus on your observations and what they could bring in for the sixth window and the World Cup.
South is going to be tough later on, no? Especially if they do get better players. They get to practice longer because they're so athletic and they're quick on their feet.
Yeah, yeah.
Really quick on their feet. We were surprised how quick. We just couldn't break them down easily
Mm-hmm.
because they hustle. They hustle so much. They attack the offensive boards. They run. They press because they're athletic. So
Mm.
the coach just put a system on their athleticism. So parang
Yeah,
ganun
yeah.
ang ginawa ng coach, and he wanted an up-tempo game. And it surprised us a little bit. It surprised us a
Mm.
little bit. We knew that the kind of tempo that they want to play, but it just surprised us a little bit that they were able to sustain that type of tempo and intensity on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, we were able to ano naman, we were able to we as you said, we did have a good start, but we were struggling at the start, finding a rhythm, playing the same kind of game that they were playing.
Yeah.
Uh, but we were able to adjust in the second half.
Okay.
Get more poise, get more discipline, because they were trying to make us play like they were playing up tempo, uh, not much attack and not much structure. Just keep attacking, and shoot the first 3 point shot that's
Yeah.
available. That's how the coach thinks they can get to win.
Mm.
So we got caught up in that kind of game, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why the score in the first half was that way.
Mm.
But in the second half, yun, naka-adjust kami ng kaunti, and then we were able to lead by 10-15. So there we were in control of the game, but still they just kept coming at us and coming at us. Parang ayaw
Mm.
bumigay.
Mm.
Excuse me, parang ayaw nilang bumigay, which is a good sign for them. Pero mabuti naman, kami naman, 'di ba? Tayo naman, we were able to sustain also for the
Yeah.
second half.
Yeah. How about with the players or the kind of system that we ran? Like, syempre, diba, we had that change nga from Coach Tab and Coach Chot, and he receives like the flack that we were losing. So, was it more of a great factor that you see like players now that could maybe be part of the World Cup roster, and the players are grasping more of the system of Coach Chot on both ends?
Sure, sure.
Mm.
That's one big thing, no. There's something to look. Unlike before, parang where are we? What direction are we going? Parang ganon,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Who
Mm.
players do we have? What direction are we going? So medyo magulo pa. But after this window, yun medyo uh, there's already something that you can look forward to, that you
Mm-hmm.
can you have a foundation. Yan. You have a
Mm.
foundation already that you can work on and keep growing in time for the world. So that's one good thing that happened in this window. Aside from the X and the O's, is also the bonding of the players,
Mm.
that they were able to get together. Kasi there's some teams that somehow, why aren't why don't you feel that they have the chemistry or the gel?
Mm.
But what happened in Saudi and in Jordan, yeah, they were able to find that chemistry of the basketball court, which translated into the basketball court.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, with that team, like I really see nga that they're being more close together and tight knit now kahit nga iba-ibang PBA team sila. So like kung sa opinion niyo lang, like do you think that these guys, like it would take up more than half or like a good amount of the World Cup roster, or do you think na meron pang chance yung mga hindi pa like nakakalaro these past 2 to 3 windows?
Well,
What's your opinion on that? Since parang if
yeah,
there's
that's what
continuity or something.
right. That's what these windows are. Are for also.
Mm.
No, since we've already qualified, and it gives us the
Mm.
chance to see players in action, diba? In
Yeah.
action, in international action, who
Mm-hmm.
can most likely make it, who can contribute, who can make it in the team, who can most likely, will they, or are they good now but will not be ready later on? Kasi
Mm.
may ganun eh. You're good but will you be ready in time for the world, diba? So
Mm.
you might be part of the pool, but will not necessarily make it. And
Mm-hmm.
there will also be some surprises that we thought probably would not make it, but played well. Mga ganun ba?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is the opportune time. Unlike, imagine if you were Jordan and had to win. How can you
Yeah, yeah,
experiment if you had to win or you
yeah,
have to win?
yeah.
So ganun eh. But we should take advantage of this luxury that we have, that we
Mm-hmm.
are already qualified. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily ayaw mo manalo. Hindi naman,
Mm.
gusto mo manalo, syempre, because that's a confidence builder to the
Mm-hmm.
players and to yourself especially and to the team. Pero it gives you also a leeway to experiment and to try players that will probably fit into your system.
Yeah. I feel that yeah, some of these guys really fit the system now, and feel na sana lang di sila ma-injure or whatever. Like feeling ko
Right,
mapapasok sila sa World Cup roster. But then yeah, before the World Cup, we still have like SEA Games, we still have the sixth window. So what
right.
should the fans or what should the people look forward to like in preparation for that? I mean, like I hear that Justin Brownlee is in the works for his naturalization, and I don't know, maybe some players like sila Junmar might be available or Bolik like that. What are you guys gonna try to experiment more or work on in preparation for the World Cup?
Well, we still want to improve. We still want to
Mm-hmm.
improve our offense. We still want to improve our defense. Try to keep that chemistry together as a basketball team because that's most important. Your chemistry in and off the basketball court is off the basketball court is as important as in the basketball court. The players that will complement with each other. Yes, you might be good, but uh, uh, you just can't complement each other. Parang ganon.
Mm-hmm.
Because the players should complement each other in terms of playing. His playing style in this way, and this player complements or fits his playing style.
Mm-hmm.
So so not necessarily mean that if you're a great basketball player, you fit the system or you fit the team concept. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
you should know that you're a basketball player. So the team
Yeah.
comes first, then the
Yeah.
individual. So yun ang ano namin, yung what is the overall perspective
Mm-hmm.
in your basketball team. And that's why we're trying out players. You have new players every now and then, but you try to keep the core also that will probably most likely make it uh, uh, for the World Cup, no? For your pool, part of your pool. Kasi hindi ka naman pwedeng 12 or 15 lang. Siyempre, you want to have a pool of 20, at least 20.
Yeah, yeah, 20. Yeah.
And then you go from there. So yun, because not all of these, some of these players might be rookies, might not be
Mm-hmm.
ready, but you want them part of the pool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the preparation that
Mm-hmm.
we are planning come come May when the Southeast Asian Games start and practice really starts.
Yeah, yeah, that's really exciting. I can't wait. I mean, yeah, the PBA, the band, the UAAP, and all the other leagues, they're giving like at least 3 months ata na full time
That's
practice
true.
for Gilas.
Starting May, I think starting May,
Mm-hmm.
because the Southeast Asian Games starts May 5.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
yun. So from then on yun. After tuloy-tuloy na yun. Tuloy-tuloy na siya yung training for the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's really gonna be exciting. Sana we do well in the World Cup, and yeah, it's gonna be on our home turf. But yeah, I wanted to ask you the last question about Gilas, naman. Since you are now an assistant coach with Coach Tim Cohn and Coach Chot Reyes, with you guys working as a team, and yeah, trying to make us do well in the World Cup. So how is that feeling like playing with like being with like legendary coaches and learning from them and also them learning from you?
Well, actually, it makes your job easier because you're
Mm.
under Coach Chot and Coach Team. So
Yeah.
you learn from them. It makes the whole coaching experience easier, uh, knowing that the people that you work with or you work for are very knowledgeable people in the basketball world, di ba? Siyempre, iba
Mm.
yung kay Coach Chot, his experience as international, si Coach Tim, his vast experience na lang, di ba? Experience.
Mm.
Uh, makes your job easier. Instead of everything on you,
Yeah.
you rely on you rely on Coach Tim. You just stay on the background, really, nothing
Mm.
really. Uh, just trying to be a complementary coach to Coach Chot and to Coach Tim. And
Mm.
I don't mind. I don't mind because they are both legendary winning coaches also in the PBA.
Mm.
So I think our bond and our chemistry, because I think the chemistry of coaches is also important. We talk about chemistry of players. The chemistry also of coaches are so important,
Mm.
that they give into each other. They respect each other. They don't need to be overbearing to each other. Parang
Mm.
nagbibidahan kayo. Walang ganon.
Oo.
We respect each other's opinion. Your
Yeah.
opinion might not be, uh, you might have an opinion, but it might not be, how do you say, the same opinion as the others, and you're
Mm.
overruled. Then set your ego aside, and and then
Yeah.
just go with what the decision that was made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I really love the partnership or the trio that you guys are forming now with Gilas, and yeah, it really
Well,
shows
yeah, Josh
your
is a.
pedigree.
I mean, we're talking about Chot, Tim, and myself, but Josh,
Mm.
the son of Coach Chot, is such a tremendous, because he's the uh, how do you say, but he's the do it all guy. The
Oh,
the do
okay.
it all guy. The video, uh,
Mm.
the offense. Parang siya yung do it all guy, di ba?
Mm.
Video, editing, lahat siya. So Josh is such a, nakakalimutan natin si Josh. We're all talking about us three PBA
Mm.
coaches, but if you see the behind the scenes, it's Josh that's really, is really the guy with the nitty gritty, working day and night. Napupuyat yan sa work. So he's doing all the work, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen him in the PBA also, and yeah, he's a really great coach, and he coached Batang Gilas, right? Is he at
Sure,
Batang
yeah,
Gilas?
yeah.
Yeah,
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 he's at Batangilas. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Nakakalimutan lang natin si Josh kasi we have three PBA coaches, but it's really
yeah.
Josh that's doing most of the work.
Okay, okay, yeah. But yeah, your well-decorated PBA career, it started like before pa. And like when I have like guests here, we always talk about the childhood and upbringing and how they started to fall in love with basketball. And yeah, since you said nga that you guys are the legendary coaches, we want to also know where it began. So yeah, maybe you could tell the story on how where you grew up and your childhood and upbringing. And was basketball your first love, or did you try other things when you
Uh,
were a child?
well, during my time, we all start with football. We all
Oh,
start with
okay.
football. So yeah, so I
Mm.
started with football, but basketball, just because I grew up with my brothers who were also football players and basketball players at the same time. But
Mm.
football players in school and basketball players uh, after school.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
mga laron labas. So
yeah.
I get to go with them, watch them play. So and I grew up in the Crispa Toyota days, where basketball was really the only sport that people
Yeah,
watch, whether it is
yeah,
on
yeah.
TV or live. So I grew up with basketball. So so grade school, high school basketball, college basketball. So I made it to the national team also under Coach Ron Jacobs, but I never really wanted to make basketball a career. I just enjoyed the game. I just like
Mm,
playing. I really did not intend it to be
yeah.
as a career. I just enjoyed the
Mm,
game. Uh, so after college, I stopped playing. I stopped playing. After the national team, I stopped playing already. So, but I went back to basketball after a couple of years
yeah.
in the amateur. I never made it to the PBA. I wasn't
Mm,
drafted. I made myself to the draft, but I wasn't drafted. The draft before was not like this. You're just in a small room, and not me and the coaches are in a small room, and then they draft in a whiteboard. It's such a
okay.
simple drafting at the time. So, but I know, no one picked me, so I stopped playing altogether. So, uh, and then I was working already. I was working in a trading firm. I was working in There was
Mm-hmm.
some trading firm. Yeah, in fact, I went to the States also for a year to work
Oh, okay.
also. Yeah,
Mm,
so ganon. But when I went back to the Philippines, this friend of mine said, why don't you? I used to live in Alabang also before, and he said, why don't you
mm.
try coaching La Salsobel?
Oh, okay.
And since you're going home anyway from your work, you go home and then might as
Yeah.
well coach the Salsobel after school, like seven in the evening or 6 in the evening. You're home
Mm,
anyway. So I said, sige, I'll try coaching La Salsobel High School. So yun, I got the job. I coached there for 2 years. And because I was going to stay longer, but, Coach Norman got me as an assistant coach in San Miguel. So that's how it started. Just by,
okay.
just by, sige na, I'll try it. I'll go, anyway, I'm going home. I'll just try. I'll see if I enjoy coaching. I'll try to teach it. I'll try to coach. But yun, and then luck has it, Coach Norman gets me as an assistant coach from high school to the PBA. Of course, I thought I was blessed and lucky to be able to jump that fast.
Okay.
Without really going through the ranks too much. So yun.
Mm,
And yeah, then 92. That was in 1992. So and then I was assistant coach already from 1992 to 1999 under Coach Norman and Coach Ron. Then I had coach already in 1999,
mm,
and then yun, tuloy-tuloy na, tuloy-tuloy na.
yeah.
You get fired, you get hired, you get fired, you get hired. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But then
so
you talked about being a high school coach with Zobel as your first like coaching job. Pero when you were playing, did you have that itch to try to go back to sports, or where do
no,
you want to work corporate already?
yeah, I wanted corporate really, but
Oh, okay.
I really wanted to work corporate, but somehow basketball always is there. Parang no matter how much I try to avoid,
Mm-mm.
basketball because I wanted to be corporate, it just comes along. It just comes somehow. Either when somebody asks you if you can play, you
Yeah.
want to play, amateur basketball, okay, let's try, let's play, diba? So parang ganun all the time. And then you stop playing and then the coaching thing comes. You go back to corporate and then the coaching opportunity comes and then you're there. Then you just stop the corporate and just stick to coaching. Maybe I said, yeah, baka this is destiny. I was probably made to be in basketball, whether it's a coach or right now I'm the head of the coaches academy, so I do clinics all over the province. So not necessarily coaching, but giving back already to the grassroots,
Mm-hmm.
sharing your knowledge. So yun. So it's really basketball. Wala nang ligtas. Kumbaga,
Uh-huh.
stop looking for something else because this is your path probably. And I coached college the other way around. I was already in the PBA as an assistant coach. Then I coached college.
Yeah.
Some people coach college first and then go to the PBA. Mine
Mm.
was just the exact opposite.
Yeah. But yeah, you mentioned that you were a coach at the with Lobel, and you really didn't, it was like destiny nga lang. So when you were playing, did you have the leadership qualities or leadership traits na kailangan mapakita ng
Uh,
coaches, or talagang you were
Mm.
like trying it out lang talaga, and yung players mo hindi pa sure kung like you weren't sure yet what you were gonna system, what will you teach them, ganun.
No, well, as a player, I never really had. I don't think I had that leadership quality. I just come into practice, work hard. Actually, I'm lazy in practice. Work hard in the game. So I practice, but
Mm.
so I don't think I had as a player. No, I don't think I had those leadership qualities. No, I don't think. No,
Mm.
I'm quiet. I don't talk too much. I don't egg the players or be good examples. Um, I'm just not. I'm not. But I get along with my teammates. That's what's.
Yeah.
That's that's what's good about me. I get along with everybody, whoever you are. Um, and as a coach, that's why when I coached high school, I just followed the. I copycatted. How do you say that? Copycat.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
copycat. Yeah.
parang ginaya mo lang. Yeah, kaya copycat. Si Coach Ron
Mm.
Jacobs, yun. He was my mentor. That's why.
Okay.
You should research on him. So, uh,
Mm.
yun, he was my mentor. So I just copycat him. Style, everything, is what he taught me in the national team. So, yun. And then yun lang that's what I taught in the high school level.
Okay, yeah. But then, yeah, you mentioned that you were assistant coach with San Miguel for several years before getting that job with LaSalle. So how was it adjusting, since sabi niyo baliktad nga na from pro assistant coach to high school, to college head coach? How was that for you in
It
terms of
was so
teaching?
it
Yeah.
was so difficult. It was so difficult because it's hard to have two jobs. Frankly speaking, I had a hard time having two jobs.
Mm.
But I needed the experience. If I wanted to become a head coach in the PBA, I needed that experience in college.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, where you make your own decisions. I mean, somehow when you make your own decisions, you make your own mistakes. You make your own. You make your own.
Mm.
uh, it's hard for you to become a head coach in the PBA when you've never experienced head coaching. It's an entirely uh, different scenario when you are making the decisions already. It's
Yeah.
so easy when you're an assistant, when you just blurt out anything you want to blurt out because you don't have to make the decision, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can do anything you want, experiment you want because you're not making the decision. But
Mm.
once you start making the decision, then that's where the difficulty comes in because you have so many things in your mind you don't know what to do.
Mm.
So I needed that, I needed that experience, which I coached LaSalle for 2 years, and then I got
Mm-hmm.
fired because we did win the championship. So
Oh.
yeah, so yun. And then that was in 1999 when I got fired in LaSalle. I At the
Mhm.
end of that year, I got fired in 98 or 99. Then the end of the year, I became head coach of San Miguel.
Oh, how did you
So
end up being the head coach? Did Coach Norman just stop coaching the
no,
time, or?
first of all, that was already under Coach Ron.
Oh, okay.
That was already under Coach Ron Jacobs. Coach Norman resigned 2 years before, and Coach Ron took over. And then
Mm-hmm.
Coach Ron resigned after 2 years, and I was the only one left. So it was my turn to yeah. So it was my turn to take over. Yun. So that's how I became head coach.
Oh, okay, okay. But then, yeah, that's
Yeah,
great that you had the trust of Coach Ron nga, and you were there now with San Miguel as the new head coach. And of course,
right.
people know that, even me na hindi ko masyadong napanood yun na like, live games. Like we all know that
Yeah,
was the team with a lot of championships. So how was that experience
right.
like, being the coach of a team nga with like sila Danny S, Olsen, and like yeah, mentioned nga na wala ka pa masyadong leadership traits nung start, pero it got
Right.
developed then, and you were able to handle all these stars or superstars at the high level.
Well, that's why that's why what I've learned was with the team is try to get uh, good character players. You try uh, parang so that uh, there's really no personality clashes.
Mm.
So uh, they're coachable. That's one. Get people that are coachable,
Mm-hmm.
that will follow your system, and good persons outside of the basketball court. Those are so important. Um, so you only think about basketball, and you don't think about anymore, the outside of the white lines, because you know
Yeah.
that they're good people. So yun, and then they people that can get along with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard if you have a player or players that don't get along with each other. So
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes along the way things happen, but if they have a strong bond together, things can be solved. And
Mm.
that's what we had in San Miguel. They had a strong bond together. And your leader in Olsen was very respected, and he got these teams together. So parang, yeah, you have a player leader. You have a
Mm-hmm.
player leader in the name of Olsen that gets that gets the respect of the players, and you've got players that respect each other. Yun. So I was
Yeah.
lucky, to have players in San Miguel like them, Danny S, Demi, Freddy, Obuda, Nick Velasco, all of them. I was so blessed to have them players, which I didn't get. It was Coach Sean that got them, and some were
Mm-hmm.
there already. Art de la Cruz and Mike Musha, they were all Dwight Lago. They were all great guys, on and off the basketball court. I transferred to Ginebra. I got fired from San Miguel and then transferred to Ginebra. They were saying they were great guys, different personality than the San Miguel guys, but they were still great guys, and took the game seriously, and practiced seriously. So yeah, and you had also team leaders, player leaders that your 3-star players were very much respected by the others, so they were the ones who led the team. So yeah.
Yeah. It's great that you mentioned about character kasi ganun nga rin like kunwari yung Golden State like when they added Kevin Durant like madali lang rin mag mess up yung team kasi madaming superstars and madaming egos like kunwari
Right.
yung Brooklyn diba like they had a lot of superstars in terms of talent sila talaga yung best team in the NBA pero nga hindi nag-work kasi ganun. So as a coach like you being in the job in the industry for a long time now, how do you like spot it? Kasi yung mga kunwari pag stats, alam mong magaling yung player sa assists, ibig sabihin magaling siya mag-pass ganun. Pero pag yung character, hindi naman naka-quantify talaga yun. So how do you do it na you're able to have those guys and hindi ka nakakakuha ng kunwari Kyrie Irving na medyo masakit sa ulo sa Brooklyn ganun. So how is it like for you?
Well, you watch them play, you
Mm.
watch their reaction. Coaches say, that actions, as the saying goes, actions speak louder than words. He might not
Mm.
be talking, but his actions say different.
Mm.
So when you watch a player, you just watch him. You don't have to talk to him. You just, if you get to talk to him, it's so much better.
Mm.
Um, but you just watch him play, watch his body language, and then more or less it will say a lot of his character. Yun,
Mm.
and then it's up to you to decide if you if you want him or not. Ganon.
Yeah.
So, diba? So I
Mm.
know I'm not a psychologist,
Yeah, yeah.
but your body language. If you're playing, your body language is probably good, diba? What happens if you're not playing? How
Mm,
good is your
okay.
body language if you're not playing? Coaches say that naman, especially
Yeah,
the
yeah.
NBA coaches or the college coaches. That's a part of also of their recruitment, is the
Mm.
how the body language of the player is in certain
Mm.
situations of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not like easy to spot to like any other fan. But like yung coaches nga since hiyang na sila dyan, ang dami ng experiences, mas madali na sa kanila makita nga yung mga, yeah, yung mga
Uh,
sinasabi, bad habits,
kasi
bad, bad
when we
values.
watch kasi we don't when we watch kasi coaches don't watch as a fan.
Mm.
There's a you watch differently than a fan.
Mm.
So kaya nasa spot mo yung mga ganun klase, because you don't watch as a basketball fan where you cheer, you
Mm.
observe. When you watch, coaches observe. Yan,
Mm.
rather than watch and enjoy. Of course, sometimes you watch and enjoy. Like for example, you watch in the NBA, you want to watch and enjoy rather than analyze, di ba?
Yeah,
Ako,
yeah.
personally, me personally, when I watch the UAAP or the NCAA or UAAP, I'm Lasal, and I watch the
Mm.
games. I haven't watched lately, no, but when I watch the games, I don't analyze. I enjoy the game. I'm
Yeah.
watching Lasal because I am a Lasalite and I'm a
Mm.
fan of Lasal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
analyze. So
Yeah.
halftime, alam mo naman, halftime, you go outside, di ba? Oh, what's happening? So some people ask me, what's happening to the team? I said, I don't know. I'm trying to enjoy the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't analyze. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
because I don't, I watch as a fan and I don't analyze. I cheer. I don't
Yeah.
analyze what Coach Derek or whoever is the
Yeah.
coach, what he's doing. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
enjoy. So
Yeah.
yun.
Yeah. How did you shift that mindset? Kasi syempre nung bata ka, fan ka naman talaga. Like, di ka naman nag-analyze like when you were a kid and when you were starting pa lang. So how did that shift and how do you kind of like distinguish
Well,
it and when to do it?
because when I was an assistant coach, you start, one of the jobs of an assistant coach is to scout the game. So
Mm.
when you start scouting the game, therefore you have to change you've got to change your mindset, your mentality, keep your emotions out of the game and start analyzing. That's how you learn.
Mm.
Watch, rather than be involved in the game emotionally. Because sometimes when you watch, you're not. When you just watch the game, you watch the ball, diba?
Mm.
When we're watching the game, we watch the basketball, correct? We
Mm.
don't
Yes.
watch what is happening outside
Yeah.
of the perspective of the basketball. But when
Mm.
you're a scout, you watch the perspective away from the ball.
Mm.
The ball will take care of itself.
Yeah.
But what's
Yeah.
happening away from the basketball? So ganun ang ano, ganun, that's how then you get to learn a little bit more. So now you're used to watching not as a fan. You're used to watching. Now you get used to watching what you are paid to do.
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
is watch the game, analyze the game, and see what's happening rather than watching as a fan and cheering.
Yeah, yeah. Going back to the San Miguel conversation, like you mentioned, nga, they're high character individuals, and when you saw the score of 1999 that was built nga by Coach Ron, as you mentioned, like did you know that there was a possibility for you guys to have a dynasty already, and or if not, like what was the time or what was the moment that you felt na kaya niyo yung manalo ng consecutive championships or madaming championships in a short span of time?
I never thought it that way. In
Mm.
fact, in the first conference, we lost, and there was just something lacking in the team. Yes, we were good, but there was something lacking, and we made a trade that somehow completed the team. We had to sacrifice a great basketball player for complementary players.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yon. For
Mm.
complementary players, which I said players that do complement each other, diba?
Yeah.
I said it earlier in the show. So, yun. And after that one making the trade, of course, you don't know what was going to happen, but you see that these players that you got can complement, each other because they have different roles. That's what I'm saying. Roles that
Mm-hmm.
complement your other players. So yeah, and then it just fit into place. Parang there's a saying that it just happened. Parang
Mm-hmm.
ganun na nangyari.
Mm.
And then everything just fitted to nag-fit lang, 'di ba? Nag-fit
Mm.
lang siya. So and then yun, tuloy-tuloy na siya. We played so cohesively. Uh, you know, everything was. We were playing like like great cohesion, a
Mm-hmm.
well-oiled machine, as they say. So
Yeah.
yun, parang less coaching happens because parang automatic na lahat.
Mm. Okay, okay. Yeah, what was
All you
the
had,
trade?
all you had to do was just sub players in and out.
Okay. What was the trade that you were referring to, coach? The one that changed
Well,
the
we
tide?
we I mean we had the year before we had Nelson Asaitono, who was a
Oh,
great
okay. Yeah, yeah.
basketball player. He scored 40, 45 points in a given game. Nobody can stop him. He was a three-point shooter, a post player, and really great,
Mm-hmm.
great offensive player. Uh, then we got then we had Daniyay at the time as a rookie. And then the
Mm-hmm.
next year, we had Danny Siegel. So we had Danny Siegel, Danny Ildefonso, and Nelson Asaytono. All great offensive players, di ba? All great offensive players. But the
Yeah, yeah.
problem is we only had one basketball. So,
Yeah.
I mean, how can I had a hard time. Honestly, I had a hard time playing them, giving them the minutes that they want or the minutes that they needed to become very effective in the game.
Mm.
And I even tried playing them together, but it just it just didn't work. I tried
Yeah,
playing them
yeah,
together because who can stop us now with all these
yeah.
three? But it just didn't work. So we got I think we got eliminated in my first in the first conference, my first
Mm-mm.
conference, and it was devastating. Parang end of the world na sa akin yun eh. Because yeah, because we were so the expectations was high because Danny I, Danny S, Nelson,
Mm-mm.
so parang nobody can stop you anymore. So, but we went back to the drawing board here, there. We needed this, that, that. So the trade came about. The trade somehow came about. Uh,
Mm-mm.
that we were able to get complementary players. It was hard letting go of a player that can give you 40 to 45 points, 30 points in a given game. It was so
Yes.
difficult to do. Parang, are you out of your mind? you're
Yeah.
you're going to give up somebody that's giving you 30 points a game, that can give you 30 points a game, so but that's what we did. So and it just fell into place. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, that trade just fell into place.
Mm-hmm.
uh so yun. And then and then parang yun nga, it was no guarantee, it was even a risk on my part,
Mm-hmm.
but it somehow it fell into place, as you say. And then everything just worked out fine.
Yeah. So
If not, then I
after
would have been fired.
yeah, after the trade of the between Nelson Asoytono, and you guys started winning the championships. And
Right.
what do you think the opponents had a tough time on? Like, yun nga, since for others it might be like, oh, one superstar gone, it might be easier. But here it became more difficult because you guys were winning. So what made it more difficult for your opponents, and how did you continue that success for numerous years na nahirapan lahat ng kalaban against you guys?
Well, unang-una, we had star players, star players that which is Nelson, Danny I and Danny S, that were wheeling passers.
Ah,
Uh,
okay, yeah.
yes, they can score, but they will wheeling passers also. You
Mm-mm.
know, uh, and we had players also that were wheeling role players. Even
Mm-mm.
if they did not have the ball, they'll find a way to help the team, either cutting to the basket or rebounding or defending.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it made it difficult because our players set some egos aside, and playing the role to their utmost capabilities or utmost abilities. They took pride in what
Mm-hmm.
their role was. Yan. And they knew that uh, it was Dania and Danias what will have the ball, and it was up to us, up to them to do the blue collared stuff: rebound,
Mm-hmm.
defend, cut to the basket, get some layups. But it also helped that Dania and Danias were willing passers, because if they were open, they'd give them the ball. So
Yeah.
parang so it was just and you had the point guy that was a willing passer also, but that can improve in knocking down his shots. So yeah, it's just, and you've got great backup players also coming off the bench that didn't mind coming off the bench.
Mm.
So laking bagay, laki, dami. So there's no one I can pinpoint that made it hard for the other teams, and we had pretty good size also. Until a
Mm.
team named Red Bull came in with size also, then we had a hard time, and we lost it. We lost two championships with them because of
Oh,
size.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Who were the players from Red Bull that were really
yeah. They
tough
had
to guard?
they had Mick Pinnisi, and Devon Harp,
Oh, okay, okay.
and then they had an import named Antonio Lang, and they were 6'8", 6'6". They, across the board, they were tall. So we
Mm-hmm.
had a hard time with size,
Oh, okay. What system
because
were you running with sila Danny I and Danny S
uh,
that made it
I just
effective?
I just posted them up. We were a one-on-one team. we walked the ball up. If you watch the games, we were so boring to watch because I'd walk the ball up. I just walk the ball up, miss or made basket, walk the ball up, get the ball to the mismatch, and go from there. I'm sorry, we were so boring to watch. It
But
was
that's
slow.
effective.
It was effective because we were a one-on-one in the post team.
Mm.
My thinking was because we had some size, we could not outrun you,
Mm.
and the game was up and down a little bit. So I dictated the tempo and took advantage of. And I played only 8 players, so I could not
Oh,
really
okay.
run because I'm an 8 player rotation at that time. So I only played 8 players, and Dania and Danias played like 40 minutes a game. So
Wow.
if they're playing 40 minutes a game out of the 48, I can't really run. So I
Mm-hmm.
slowed the game down. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
With
just
the
went to and I just went to the mismatch. It was a
yeah.
mismatching game at that time.
Okay, okay. Yeah, but with the whole post-ups now, like in this generation or this era of basketball, alam niyo po na konti na lang yung nangyayaring ganun. Like sa NBA nga ngayon, konti na lang din. And even in the PBA, like sila June Mar na lang, di ba? Like konti na lang more of yung
Right,
mga big
right,
men
right.
gusto tumira sa labas. So what's your opinion naman on that na yung big men nga mas less na sa post and sa paint, mas gusto na tumira sa labas and mag-space ng floor?
That's fine if you have players naman that can't post up, okay lang naman yun, di ba?
Mm.
But if you have a player that can post up, then why not go to the post? We're not the NBA naman. I so far I don't think naman that we have players that are the likes of Kevin Durant that are tall and have the same skill level, 'di ba? Parang wala
Yeah.
naman eh. Kasi kung
Yeah.
meron man, di ganun talaga ang ilalaro mo kung ganun man.
Yeah.
But uh, we don't. I don't think the
Mm.
only person that is closest to Kevin Durant is Japet, who's
Yeah.
so athletic at 6'8", but
Yeah, or
does not still
Malonzo.
does.
Yeah.
Malonzo is a three-man, and
Yeah.
so far he's athletic but doesn't have the same skills, diba? The same
Mm.
one-on-one skills. But yes, he's getting there. One-on-one, he'll get
Mm.
there, diba? But he's a three. He's not a four.
Mm.
He's being played
Yeah.
at the three.
Yeah.
But Kevin Durant is a center. Imagine that. So parang wala pa naman tayong ganun, di ba? Marami tayo,
Yeah.
mga three wingmen, marami tayong ganun. But Kevin Durant is a center, di ba?
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
He's a
Yes.
seven-footer. So I'm not saying that yung seven-footer natin, pero yung sabihin natin yung 6'8" natin, dapat ganun din, di ba? Like a Carl Tamayo, probably yan. Carl Tamayo, mga Balti, yeah,
Mm.
the likes of those, diba? The likes of those. Eventually, siguro.
Yeah. And yeah, you mentioned with San Miguel nga na you were playing a short rotation and 40 minutes sila Danny S and Danny I. So was that also one of the reasons na hindi rin maging sobrang tagal yung dynasty? Or was it inevitable na talagang hindi na matutuloy? Like after 2001, hindi na ata kayo nakapag-champion.
Yeah, we won 6 championships, diba? We won six
Yeah, yeah.
championships. I think the last championship was in 2003
One.
or 4, if I'm not
Oh, okay.
mistaken. I think I don't remember, but yeah,
Okay.
kasi people, the teams get to adjust. Teams get to adjust. As I said, Red Bull became bigger, and we had trouble with them because they had
Mm.
more size than we did. So yun. So uh, that's why it went to a stop, di ba? Medyo nahinto ng konti yun.
Mm-hmm.
And yun. And then yeah, and then that's it. So medyo pababa na yung laro. Uh, I mean the game of the post-up game medyo nawawala na.
Yeah,
Nawawala
yeah,
na.
yeah.
Yeah. Yun.
Mm. Yeah, I just checked. It's like no 2001 nanalo kayo all Filipino. And then the next one was 2005 yung may import. Then
Right. Who,
yeah, that was
import. Who did we win in 2005? I don't think I was there. Was I there already? Who's the
2005
import?
Fiesta.
Who,
Best
who's the
import
import?
had. Finals MVP was Danny I, but import was Tommy Smith. Who's that?
Oh, I don't think that's.
Ace Custis. Oh yeah,
Oh,
but
the
the
Ace
best.
Castis. Yeah, Ace
Yeah.
Castis. Yeah. That's me. That was my last championship with San Miguel. Ace Castis. right,
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you
right,
guys
right, right.
won because Gerald Honeycutt was best import
Right,
and you
we
guys beat
played again.
TNT.
Right, we beat them. Yeah, that was the last championship.
Oh, okay.
With
Yeah, yeah.
With Ace Castis. Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah. That's what I
right,
saw because it said here list of imports. Eh. So yeah, I saw Ace Custis and San
right.
Miguel down. But then there was another one, see Tommy Smith. Who's that? I'm not sure who he is.
Maybe that's I don't know. Maybe that's after me siguro.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I don't remember. Yeah,
yeah. With that San Miguel team, it's one of the most memorable ones. Like, yeah, even if I didn't see it. But then moving on to the Ginebra stint, like, how did that come about? Because you said you got fired by San Miguel, but then how did you move to Ginebra? And then no 06, I think, all Filipino, you guys won a championship right away with them.
right. I got fired, and I got fired from from San Miguel, and I got transferred. Really, it's a transfer.
Mm-hmm.
But you get fired. That's why you get transferred because you get fired. But anyway, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was transferred to Ginebra. Yun.
Mm-hmm.
It was really entirely different team, entirely different style.
Mm-hmm.
So I was I was blessed that the head coach Shot Tankinson became still my assistant. So
Yeah,
yun
yeah.
because Shot Tankinson was my assistant in San Miguel,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and then he got transferred to Ginebra, and then he won some championship in Ginebra. Then I transferred to Ginebra, so he became my assistant again. So yun,
Mm.
that's what I'm saying. Chemistry between coaches are so important. So yun, uh, and that's how I got transferred to Ginebra.
Mm.
And then so entirely different team, entirely different style. Uh, so medyo nangangapa pa ako because
Mm.
it's after so many seasons and years with San Miguel with those players, and then you get transferred to a different set of players. Medyo ikaw din na ano ka, medyo nangangapa ka pa rin, 'di ba?
Mm.
So kailangan so napag-aralan mo rin kung paano how to deal with another different but how to deal with different personalities. But I just for me I just coach my personality.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't coach anybody else's personality. So that's my personality in and off the basketball court, and how I deal with you. That's my personality. So what you see is what you get. There's nothing else.
Yeah. But you played with Hinebra, but a run and did you guys run a run and gun style since you
Right,
guys
that's
had
right.
JJ
Ex-
and Mark? So
exactly.
how long did it take for you to adjust since post up tapos run and gun? Parang drastic change with the
Wala
play.
naman. But that's why she shot was a big help because he was there
Okay.
already. He was a
Yeah.
very big help. So yun, ganon. And I knew that in fact we went to Singapore to play exhibition games against against the Singapore Slingers at that time. We
Okay,
went to
yeah.
Singapore for a two-game exhibition game. It was,
Mm,
uh, we already played outside of the country.
mm,
Kami Hinebra, we already played to get international exposure at the time already when everybody was, playing here in Manila.
mm.
So we played against Singapore Slingers. So um, and the game was so fast.
Yeah.
Parang na-indigestion yata ako. Parang na-indigestion ako. Na-acidic yata ako doon sa laro kasi ang bilis. I was not used to that type of game that you're coaching kasi I'm more,
Mm.
again, as I said, we were slowed down and then here comes Ginebra, parang ang bilis. So, medyo na-acidic ako. Sabi ko sa coaches ko, ina-indigestion na ako dito ah. Ganon. Because it's a
Yeah.
different, but I got used to it also. I got used to it
Mm.
also. It's just, it's just the different style that I got used to. But you
Yeah.
get used to it. So, yun, nasanay din naman.
Yeah, honestly, that's when I started liking the PBA, watched it more, and 06 to 08 when you were the coach of Ginebra. Kaya hanggang ngayon, coach, I'm still a diehard Ginebra fan since that time.
Right.
And yeah, yung memorable championship for me was 08. I remember I even have a CD like here in my room na I think yung finals, I don't know if it's a pirated CD. Then I think yung game 7 nandun yung buong game, and I used to watch that repeatedly when I was younger. And yeah, alam ko yun
Really.
sila
Yeah.
Chris Alexander ganun. And
Oh yeah,
everyone. Yeah.
we were injured. We were so injured at that time. Walang
Mm.
player na noon. So I was, yeah, I think Mark was injured, JJ was injured, and
Mm.
we somehow, somehow we got over it because Chris Alexander was a great import. He was a tall, long, athletic big, 7-footer
Mm.
athletic big. So yeah, I think we were down that series 3-2, I think,
Mm.
and then we won two straight. So yeah, it was one of the sweetest championships. It was a difficult championship, pero it was fun to watch.
Yeah. I guessed that also Coach Bo Perasol, I asked him about that championship nga. And Air 21 had talented players, puro mga stars din. And sayang lang, they'd get over the hump for them. But yeah, Hinebra won it. So, did you see na yung mga players na yun talagang they had bright future ahead in the PBA? And was that the reason also that it made it tough? And they had an import like Steve Thomas who was very good as well.
Yeah, it was so hard to defend them because they were
Mm-hmm.
they shot three pointers, they posted up, and they shot three pointers. They were great shooters. You had Ronnie Dell, you had KG Canaleta, I think, but they were all
Yeah, yeah.
3-point shooters, and it really and you really had to make a choice because Steve Thomas was also a good one-on-one player in the post. Parang
Yeah.
parang ano yan, ang hirap hintuin. Sinong hintuin mo? Si Steve Thomas or yung 3 points ni Ranidel and whoever, di
Mm.
ba? So we had to make a choice. We had to pick our poison in that game. In the series, I should say. In the series, we had to pick our poison. And which kind of shot will we have to give up? And we
Mm.
took a gamble. We took a gamble on that. And whether it worked or not, basta we won it taking that gamble.
Yeah. How about coaching Mark Agiwa and JJ Helterbrand? Like, how was that experience like being with them, and how are they like on and off the court and with their
Uh,
teammates and yeah, everything that we don't see in the
uh,
camera?
they get along very well. JJ,
Mm.
kasi ano sila JJ is very soft spoken,
Mm.
and he leads by example. He
Mm.
plays hard, he practices hard, he enjoys the practice, he enjoys the game. Parang ganun, enjoy siya. Baski practice, gusto niya, yung ang tawag doon, they enjoy playing.
No.
That's why, JJ, maganda si JJ because he enjoys playing, hindi hirap ang practice. Gusto
Mm.
niya maglaro. Si Mark naman, is so competitive.
Mm.
Ayaw niyang matalo. Maski may iniindayan kung kaya niya ilaro, he'll play. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
so competitive that he does not like to lose. That's why it comes off in the game that he becomes a leader because his teammates know that hindi siya magpapatalo. Whatever
Mm.
happens, hindi siya magpapatalo. Yun. And then that's why ang ganda nga nung ang sabi ko lang sa kanila noon, uh, and Mark, though he is a scorer, pag mainit for example, alam niya pag mainit si Eric Menk, sige, bigay natin kay Eric. Kasi mainit
Mm.
marunong siya marunong maglaro Kung
Mm.
hindi naman siya kailangan siya. Pag
Mm.
mainit si Eric, I'll give the ball to you, Eric. Parang
Mm.
ganun. Or mainit si JJ, bigay natin. Ganun siya karunong sa laro. Pero
Mm.
kung hindi kayo mainit, ako na. I'll be the one to, it's my turn to shoot. But if
Yeah.
I'm hot, it's mine. But if you're hot, I'll give you the basketball. That's how he knows how to play the game. Hindi siya
Mm.
selfish and so competitive. So that's why uh, and they were the team was a complete package because
Mm.
uh, we had a running team, but if you slow the game down, you have somebody to go to in the post, which is Eric
Yeah.
Menk. So
Yeah.
and then you had Rudy Hatfield at that time. You had Rapi Ribis. Those are the role
Mm.
players that will do the dirty job. And
Mm.
Ronald Tubid, Sunday Salvacion, all those guys. And I remember also Junti Valenzuela, ang dami, Rob
Mm.
Labagala, those people that come off the bench, you had JC Intal also, and
Oh
John
yeah.
Reels, ang dami. And
Yeah.
and they, um, again, they complemented each other. They were good guys. So yun, and I think we went to the finals 4 times and won twice. Then
Mm.
went to the final 4 times and went twice, which is not bad, you know.
Mm.
So yun. So that's how the Hinebra thing is. The dynamics of the
Yeah.
Hinebra team is exactly opposite of the San Miguel team.
Mm. Yeah. How about coaching these franchises? I mean, they're the same owner. You coach teams na lang. I mean, San Miguel, Ginebra. You even coach TNT. I mean, these are all teams that have like high expectations every conference to win the championship. So as a coach, di ba, yung iba nahihirapan, gusto nila muna yung walang expectations, yung hindi masyadong yung limelight na sa kanila. Pero for you, like, you welcomed it instantly that you had San Miguel and then Ginebra and then TNT as head coaching tenure. So how did you adjust to that with the pressure and expectation of winning?
Honestly, I didn't. Honestly, it was given to me. I did not. It was give. It was. I had no choice. I had no choice. Really,
Mm.
honestly, I had no choice. I mean,
Mm.
uh, some people like the challenge. Okay, this is a challenge.
Mm.
I like the underdog. I don't. I like the
Mm.
underdog personally. So go imagine in San Miguel, uh, because Coach Ron stepped down, who was left? I'm next, diba?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm next. And then when I was transferred to Ginebra, I'm next because I was transferred to Ginebra, so I'm next. Who else is
Yeah.
who else is it going to be?
Yeah.
So then when I got fired from Ginebra, or not fired, I transferred to the MVP group. I
Yeah.
wasn't I wasn't head coach of anything. I wasn't head
Mm.
coach of anything. But one thing led to another. It's a long story, but one thing led to another, and then I become head coach of TNT. I mean, not to my expectations or to my, but
Yeah.
that's what happened. So again, I told you, no matter how I uh, evade being into basketball or getting into that head coaching thing, it's always there somehow. Somehow.
Yeah. And yeah, you mentioned it already, Coach. I wanted to go to that kind that you were from the SMC group and moving to the MVP group. Was it tough for you? Syempre kasi parang diba, hindi naman sila, like competitors sila in the industry. And then, I mean, even now you're still with MVP and you were with Meralco first before being with
Yeah.
TNT. How was that
Yeah.
experience for you?
It was a really hard decision, a very, very
Mm.
hard decision that I had to make. I grew up with San Miguel since 1992. I got to know everybody from the employees. I'm so close to some of
Mm.
the employees. You get to see them every day.
Yeah.
You just go to the canteen, go to office, and you get to see them. So parang na-attach ka na sa San Miguel in the office itself.
Mm.
Office of Mr. Ang, office of Mr. Coangco, your team office. You get attached to these people also, and the company itself. Parang
Mm.
never ending ng San Miguel dito. Parang gusto mo na mag-retire sa San Miguel, whatever
Mm.
happens, diba? Because that's where you started, and somehow you built a relationship with them already, and the company that you got to be identified with.
Mm.
But it was a hard decision to make. But I think I had to make that decision, and
Mm.
transfer to not necessarily the MVP group, but that was the group that I transferred to.
Hmm. Yeah, and then when you moved to Meralco, like what was your role there and
I
what were you
was
doing? Like did you plan to be a head coach again? Like that's when you moved to TNT. How was that whole
no
thing?
no no. I was already have fun and I was enjoying my assistant coach consultant in Meralco, just helping. Um, Somehow I got transferred to TNT. Uh, it was, I was happy coaching because Norman was my was my head coach also. I started with, so I was content. I was happy again with Coach
Mm.
Norman. I don't mind being in the background. I enjoy
Mm.
being in the background. But one thing led to another. Then I'm head coach of TNT. And then you win a championship, and then you don't win, and then you get fired. So that's the life of a basketball coach. Yeah. But that's good. You're still with Gilas. That's good. You're still with the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. So yeah.
Yeah.
And you're still there. So surviving.
Yeah. I just researched kanina nga that you led TNT to a championship, and I'm interested since it was a memorable time for me also as a fan. Like, were you the coach of Ivan Johnson? Di ba siya yung madaming
Right. Yeah.
outbursts and
Yeah, I
madaming
was the coach. Yeah, I was the coach of Ivan Johnson because I thought that TNT. I thought TNT needed somebody with with gusto.
Yeah.
With some fight, in him. Parang ganon.
Yeah.
But I saw Ivan Johnson even before I transferred to TNT. I was watching him in the D League, and I said, if I have a chance to get him, I'll get him. If I have a chance to get Ivan Johnson in the D League, I'll get him. And then he went to the NBA, so I could not get him.
Mm.
Not knowing that he had, some attitude problems too. I just liked the way he played because he played hard, and
Yeah.
he just played hard and wanted to rebound, something like that, and just dunk the ball. Parang
Yeah.
ganun, he wanted to play defense. But I heard that he had some attitude problems. That's why. But so be it. I have a chance, and I said if I have a chance, I'll get him. And I had the chance, so I got him. Yun. So but you watch those games, so you know what I was dealing with.
Yeah, how do you deal with something like that? I mean, you guys, you had high character
So
guys at the
you
start with
know,
sila Danny I, Danny S, and sila Mark, sila JJ. Then now you have an import like this. How different
the,
was it?
Jimmy Alapag was a big help. Jimmy Alapag.
Oh.
He was a manager at that time, and he was such a tremendous help in keeping Ivan Johnson in the right frame of mind,
Mm-hmm.
and then keep him happy and not think
Mm-hmm.
about anything else except the game. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
medyo may baggage di ba? Parang
Yeah.
these kinds of medyo mabigat dalhin, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So but he nagpa-practice siya. Hindi siya, he doesn't miss practice.
Mm-hmm.
He practices, but he only likes to practice an hour and 30 minutes. But it's okay, no problem. NBA style, eh. Our 30
Oh,
minutes,
okay.
you're done, di ba? So okay lang. But he knows what he's doing in the basketball court. So fine. But Jimmy Lapag was a tremendous help in keeping Ivan Johnson at bay, medyo on the right track, the right direction.
Yeah. And yeah, in that final series,
Malaking bagay ang manager, to talk to the
okay, yeah.
players.
Yeah. In that final series, it's also very memorable for me kasi sobrang close nun and physical. And I think nung game 7, di ba, sobrang close nung game. And yeah, that's when you needed Ivan Johnson to step up. He was there. And a few of the other locals that stepped up in the final series. And there were
Right,
a lot of like tussles. There were a lot of injuries. I think Jeff Chan
right,
barely, like, kala nila out of the series, bigla naglaro. And then,
right.
I think yun yung si Jaire Ibanez ba, and someone
Right,
from
and
like they threw
and
the
and,
ball
and
at each other.
Ganuelas and Matt
Yeah,
Ganuelas.
Canuelas,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's a very messy series. So from if among
Right.
all your championships and mentioning if someone mentions that to you, what's the first thing that comes to your mind about that championship?
That's good you asked that question because that is the most tiring championship I have ever experienced. I was so exhausted after that championship game. Not only
Mm.
the championship game, but the series itself.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, it was so tiring, especially that last game when it went into double overtime. It
Yeah,
was
double.
really so exhausting.
Mm.
And I don't know how Coach Yang felt, but if if we had lost that game, it was parang hindi mo alam kung anong gagawin mo if you had lost
Yeah.
that game because everybody from Rainer Shine's bench to our team, they gave their all. Walang gustong bumigay. They made
Mm.
big shots. Paul Lee
Mm.
made big shots. Chisholm made big shots. Ivan Johnson made big shots. Ronnie Del De Ocampo made big shots in overtime. Oh wow! It
Mm.
was not a coach's game anymore. It was a
Yeah.
player's game. Wala na.
Mm.
It was not. You think you coached well. No, in that kind of situation, it's players that won that game. I didn't win that game.
Mm.
Wala nang game plan yun. Basta gawa nyo na ng paraan.
Yeah.
Gawan niyo na ng
Yeah.
paraan yan, di ba? Play, play. And that's what happened in that game. That's what happened in that game.
Mm. Yeah, that series, I rewatched Game 7 nung 2020, nung pandemic, nung walang nangyayaring basketball. Pinanood ko ulit yung Game 7 eh, kasi yeah,
Oh,
it's really
really? Yeah, yeah,
exciting and you really won't forget like many of the big shots nga that you mentioned of the players that yeah, that were there
right.
and they were creeping
Yeah.
into the pressure but they like yeah, they ascended to the like the throne nga yung TNT when they won the championship. But then after that, yeah, being with TNT and didn't Ivan Johnson come back and then pinauwi siya or something? Like, were you still the coach
Yeah.
that time when he
I
came
was
back?
still the coach at that time, and I
Oh,
had honestly I had second thoughts of bringing him back already. But
okay.
we brought him back, and and it didn't work out. Uh, yeah, it just didn't work out. So we had to send him home, but uh, yeah, things didn't work out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but after TNT, and I believe the next one was Gilas or Ready for You. Like, what transpired next in the MVP group now that they moved you now to Gilas? Like, what was the plan? What
I
did you?
was
Yeah, what did you do?
Man, I was already Gilas at that time. I was already Gilas at that time, assistant
Mm,
coach, and but then I became full time out of TNT. Then I became full time with Gilas. Full time with Gilas, and at the same time, I became the. That's when the program head for the coaches academy came about because Gilas
okay.
was not whole year round naman eh.
Yeah,
Diba?
yeah,
It
yeah.
was per tournament. So,
Mm,
but I was full time with Gilas, but at the same time, also full time with the as program head of the Coaches Academy. So that's where I started going around the country to do clinics for the grassroots coaches. So
okay.
that's my next what do you call that, mission?
Venture. Yeah,
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 venture mission. Yeah, is
yeah.
to get to the grassroots coaches.
Yeah. With Gilas, who was the coach when you started like full time already there?
Full time. It was still Chot. It was still Chot. In fact, Chot and I
Mm.
started in 2012. We started together in
Mm.
2012. I was with the San Miguel group. I think he was with Coke or something like that. And
Mm.
that's when we started. Really, 2012, the start of the national team.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay.
that's when we started. I became assistant to the national team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, with all the Gilas news, like everyone knows, everyone tries to be toxic about it. Everyone has their own thoughts and opinions over the past how many years with the whole coaching, players, everything. Like all the fans have their own thing, but then you've been there all throughout of it. And how has it been like being in the middle of the Gilas? Like, is it really a roller coaster ride? Kasi may mga issues na like internally that you
yeah,
don't share to the media. Meron yeah, coaching na iba-ibang system, and you
yeah,
even coached like a couple of games, right? There was a time na naging head
yeah,
coach ka
in
nung
Bahrain.
win,
Yeah,
yeah, in Bahrain. So, how was this whole Gilas thing? Like, what do you learn from it? What do you want people to learn from it na madaming nangyayari? Lalo na now that medyo may structure, but you never know. Something can happen again in the next year or something. And then, but you're always there and you're always the constant coach there.
constant coach. I just
Yeah.
do my job. I just do my
Yeah.
job. Whatever is asked of me. I try not to join the how do you say,
Shenanigans.
yeah, the other things that are not under your control. Basta
Yeah, yeah.
nandito lang ako, I'll do my job. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do. Whoever is the coaching, whoever the coach is, I'll do the best I can to help you. Yun. So that's why I get along with anybody, uh, and uh, that's why up to now I'm here as an assistant coach for how long I don't know, but I've been here for so long, and I like representing the Philippines. I like
Mm-hmm.
representing Gilas. I like representing the Philippines. It's always an honor for me, no matter how hard it is, no matter how roller coaster, what kind of roller coaster ride it is, diba? I'm always there for to if called upon to represent Gilas, either as an assistant coach or anything for that matter. I don't have to be head coach, so
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm
with
happy.
Yeah, with your now current job now as in focusing on the grassroots program, even the referees academy and assistant in Gilas, like do you plan to do that for the long term, like these jobs that you're in, and are you open to like
I,
being a head coach again? Like what's your short term and like long term plan in terms of like your coaching and maybe everything outside as well?
I don't, you know, uh, I don't have long-term plans. As long as the coaching, as long as the coaching, as long as the coaching scenario, situation, or career is there for me, then I'll take it, diba?
Mm-hmm.
If there's a head coaching job and and I think it's right, then it's something to think about. But I don't think about it until it's
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't run after any head coaching thing. But if it's there, then we'll see what it offers, diba? Um, as of now, I'm concentrated as the referees and coaches academy head, and for the World Cup in 2023. After
Mm-hmm.
that, I don't know. After that, I can't say.
Yeah.
After the World Cup, I can't say, because uh, who knows what 2024
Mm-hmm.
is, So I can't say.
Yeah. And yeah, for the question that I wanted to ask, like, yeah, since you've been in the coaching world for many years now, and how do you think the Filipino coaching like group or like contingent can continue getting better at their craft? Like, what should they do? Like, maging European or NBA? Like, what do they need to do to continually reach that level ng mataas? Kasi alam mo naman yung coaches natin may talent and they have an eye for the game, but then syempre kailangan din ng training and mentorship and guidance and everything.
Yeah, there's um, kailangan may ano like uh, learning from, in my opinion, no,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if learning from the international game will help a lot,
Mm.
uh, because we're too. This is my opinion. Okay, I'm not.
Mm.
Parang
Yeah.
nakaano tayo dito sa Philippines, sa Philippine, the Philippine, how do you say, brand of basketball. Parang
Mm.
nandito lang tayo eh. Kailangan, like for example lang, uh, Japan has foreign coaches, not necessarily head coaches, but they have foreign assistants or foreign consultants, but bring in new ideas. Yun ang ano dyan eh. That's why uh, I started the SBP Coaches Summit, where I brought into international coaches. Yung mga ganun ba? That
Mm.
brings in new technology to the Philippines, not necessarily being hired, but bring in new technology, new styles that all these coaches can think about, because it's also expensive to go to the States or to Europe or to just attend clinics. It's not a joke,
Yeah.
diba?
Yeah.
It's not a joke. I used to do it, but you have to
Mm.
invest in it, and it's not a
Mm.
joke. So the most practical way is to bring them here. Not necessarily get hired, but at least share their knowledge to our grassroots coaches, or to our coaches for that matter, in different levels of the tournament. Yon.
Yeah. For sure. I agree. I agree. Lalo na yeah, madami yung magagaling na even yung mga hindi masyadong kilala na coaches sa Europe or
Oh,
sa US. Yeah. But
dami.
then, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like baka
dami.
nobody tapos they steer their team to like I don't know, like yung sa mga NCAA nila, 'di ba? Like madaming mga kakaibang coaches doon na hindi
Just
kilala.
look at this. Just look at this young guy from Utah, from the Utah
Oh yeah.
Jazz.
Will Hardy. Yeah.
He was. I mean, diba, I don't think he
Yeah.
was expected to perform this way. Maybe later, I don't know, but
Yeah.
he's performing very well, and he was, not known, di ba? Not
Yeah.
known, but meron palang ano. So ganun, maraming ganun ng coaches in the States that, can come here and do their clinics just to share their knowledge, or Europe, or I brought in two Australians here, care of FIBA in Singapore, 2019. I was
Mm.
supposed to do it again every year. It was supposed to be an every year thing. But
Mm.
because of the
Pandemic.
pandemic,
Yeah.
yeah, we had 400 coaches that attended in the first summit of which SBP Coaches Academy sponsored. There were
Mm.
400 coaches from all over the Philippines. attending the 2-day clinic. So, ganun.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you again, Coach Jong, for joining me here in the pod. But before we wrap up, I ask a few standard questions to my guests before they go. So one of it is, I'm pretty sure you're an NBA fan and you know that the players are more vocal now and more passionate when it comes to social and political issues. Like it started in the bubble, but it has been continuing. When something's going on in their country that they don't like or in the world, they speak about it, whether in their interviews or on social media. And here in the Philippines, the players and the coaches and sports personalities, they became more active approaching the election season. Pero usually, di ba, yung mga Pinoy, hindi sila ganun ka-vocal about their opinions on these kasi hindi naman sa wala
Right.
silang pake, but then we're like timid and shy people. So, in your opinion, being like in a coach for a long time, even a player before, what's your opinion on people in the sporting world being vocal about social and political issues, whether in their in social media, in interviews, yeah, all these things.
But sa akin, ilagay lang, it's your preference. Eh. It's your preference,
Mm,
it's your choice, di ba? It's your preference, it's your choice. Basta, nasa lugar lang, di ba? Nasa lugar lang in
mm,
the proper perspective. That's my opinion, in the proper perspective. If like, if you want to, kasi sometimes too much opinion eh. Sometimes too much opinion, it doesn't do good naman, 'di ba?
mm,
Parang ganon. Unlike if you want to be opinionated, make sure it does something good.
mm.
That's my opinion. You know, in social media, some people just blurt out anything in social media. Parang ganun.
Yeah,
'Di ba?
yeah,
Wala naman ka. What heck did it do? That's the first
nothing.
thing when you. What's the first thing when you voice your opinion? Make sure it helps. It helps in the society. You know, it doesn't instigate anything. So, basta nakakatulong, okay naman. So, that's why
Mm,
it's very, there's a borderline. Eh. There's a borderline where it's help or it's just something that you want to voice out. Yan.
mm. Yeah. So for the that's really great to hear from you, Coach. And for the next question, it's just a lighter on a lighter note. If you had the opportunity to have dinner with five people, dead or alive, who would you invite?
Wow. That's hard, ah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never thought about that one. I never thought about that. I don't know. That's hard to answer. Five people, dead or alive. Wow. All right. Okay, I choose. I don't know. Uh, I choose a coach first. That's one.
Mm.
I like to have dinner with Greg Popovich because he's my
Oh,
idol as a basketball coach.
yeah.
So that's it. Um, I'd like to have dinner probably with. Uh, I don't know, bakit might come true. Ah, I want to have dinner with Abraham Lincoln. You know,
Oh, okay, okay.
to get his insights. You know,
Yeah.
his insights.
Mm.
Uh, I'd like to have dinner with. Forgot his name. I forgot his name. Is it Mahatma Gandhi? The Hindu,
Ah,
the
okay.
Hindu, is that him?
Yeah.
Right. I want to learn insights.
Mm.
People with insight.
Yeah. It's a different
Uh,
perspective.
right. Different
Yeah.
perspective. Yun. I'd like. Yung mga ganun ba? I don't know. And other guys, but I don't. I can't.
Martin
I'd like to
Luther
have.
King Jr.
Maybe, yeah. Of course,
Yeah.
I'd like to have. If there's a, I might sound like mocking, but maybe, hopefully, I can have. It's crazy,
Who?
I don't know. Never mind. I won't say anything. Never mind. Maybe I can have. Never mind. Never mind. It might, ano. Uh, uh, Never mind. Tama na yun. Apat na lang. Apat na lang.
Surprise na lang yung fifth. Okay, so for the final question, Coach, I usually ask my guests since I invite you guys through social media lang naman, and I want to be in sports media sana in the future. That's why I started this podcast. And so, sino yung masasuggest mo, ma-invite ko here in the pod that would have a great story to tell or yung masarap lang makipagkwentuhan about sports, whether basketball or kahit anong iba
Oh,
pang sport.
uh, I don't know who's ano ba who's there's many by former players like Willie Wilson will be a good maraming kwento sa buhay yon,
Mm.
you know. Um, players that how he survived the game,
Yeah.
how he survived the game ba, 'di ba? How he survived the game being 6'1" and
Mm.
playing the four spot, how he
Yeah.
survived the game.
Yeah.
Some inspirational talk on how he survived the game. It's good tip also for basketball players. I don't know who has a lot of experience also. Um, guys that found ways after basketball. Who is this? Like uh, uh, who used maybe like Paul Artadi or those guys that were able to build something after basketball. That's also
Mm.
important. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it will be. I think I'm sure there are other people also.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great list. I
Uh,
actually talked to Willie Wilson already because I interviewed him before, and I
oh,
also asked
okay.
help from him because I applied to PBA courtside and I needed a report. So I asked help from him because I got assigned to the Phoenix game when I was trying out there. So yeah, that's why I
Hmm.
asked help from him to get some info about their team. So yeah, he's a
Oh,
great
right,
guy
right,
to
right. Yeah, yeah,
talk
yeah.
to. Yeah. So, yeah, thank
Hmm.
you, Coach Jong, for joining me
All
on the pod. I
right.
really enjoyed learning a lot about your coaching tenure and all these teams. And do you have any final message before you go?
Nothing. Congratulations, Diego, for your show.
Mm,
I'm sure that a lot of people that watch your show learned a lot uh,
mm,
from your guests and from yourself also through your questions.
mm,
It's a very not only entertaining but also something that people can watch and learn from. From the
mm.
experiences of the people that you guest. So it's a very good show, and congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach. And before you go, is it okay if we take a picture?
Sure.
Okay, I'll take it. One, two, three. Okay, thank you, Coach Jong, for
All
joining me on the
right.
pod. And yeah, see you
Good
soon. Bye
night.
bye.
Bye
Good
bye.
night. Good night. Bye bye.